Hello and welcome to JV's IAS. Welcome to a module on environment and ecology for UPSC. So before entering into the module, let me introduce myself. I am Gogula Rajashekar and I am an engineer from IIT Bhubaneswar. And with respect to UPSC, my journey of UPSC, I have given 5 mains. Each and every time I have cleared prelims and 2 interviews. Now coming to my teaching experience, I have been teaching for the past 5 years and I have mentored various number of successful aspirants. And coming to my research profile, my area of research interest is artificial intelligence and I am a patent holder in that. And I'll be teaching you environment and ecology at JV's IAS. Alright? Enough about me. Now let us enter into environment and ecology. Let us try to understand what is this topic, what is the importance of this topic for UPSC. Clear? Now, when we wanted to start preparation for any competitive examination, when we wanted to start any subject, the 4 basic questions, my approach is very simple. I'll start with the 4 basic questions to understand the subject. Like in that, I'll be asking, what is this subject and why is this subject, then how we have to cover this subject, and finally from where we have to cover this subject. मतलब क्या पढ़ना है हमें ये सब्जेक्ट में, then क्यों पढ़ना है, why, what is the importance, why we have to cover this particular environment and ecology. Then comes कैसे पढ़ना है, how to study it, how to cover it. See, in this preparation, knowing it, what is important for the examination perspective and what should be avoided, that is more important. So that is where I'll be helping you how to cover the syllabus of environment ecology for UPSC examination. Then finally, the sources for UPSC examination. Alright, so let us try to understand the entire course with these 4 basic questions. सबसे first, let us understand what to study in this course. That is, what are the contents of this course. Okay, so this is given by, for this, the source to know what to cover in this subject is given by the UPSC in its syllabus. Whenever UPSC releases the notification, along with the notification, it will be releasing the syllabus. So in the syllabus of UPSC for environment section, we have conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, and environmental impact assessment. Of course, this is in your both prelims and mains examination. Okay, and particularly in the mains examination, this comes under GS paper 3 along with economic growth and development, disaster management, science and technology. So it has been put under that section. Is that clear? Science and technology is also part of this GS paper 3. Now what to study is clear. It has been given in the UPSC syllabus of UPSC, but here we will be looking at the analysis of previous year questions. That is what UPSC has asked particularly from this section in the prelims as well as in the mains. Sometimes the syllabus, see, this is the syllabus mentioned in the UPSC. It is a one line saying that conservation, pollution, degradation and environmental impact assessment. But when you actually see the previous year questions, particularly in the prelims, they are touching the core concepts as well. So that's why I have devised this course in such a manner that all the questions which are being asked in the prelims as well as in the mains can be covered here. Okay, so this is how we know what to study in this particular course. Then the important question, why to study it? So this is very important question according to me, because as an aspirant we should have clarity in the sense what is our objective, clarity with respect to what we wanted to become, what is our goal clarity. At the same time, once we crack this examination and become civil servant, then we have a role. Then we need to know what is our role clarity with respect to this particular subject, how it is going to help us in the real life administration after clearing the examination. Are you getting my point? So that means the role of an administrator in conserving the environment. What is the knowledge that we need in order to do that? How can we mitigate the pollution? How can we check degradation of the environment? For all this, the information can be gained from this module. So now let us go one by one and see what we can learn and why should we learn this subject. Okay, so let us suppose this is you. Now you are a IAS aspirant or any civil services aspirant, I should say. Now being a civil services aspirant, our primary goal is to crack this examination, that is the UPSC examination. And as I said in the previous slide, this is there, the environment section is there both in prelims and mains. Further, if you are aware of, there is one more services which is conducted by the UPSC along with the civil services, that is Indian Forest Services. Clear? So Indian Forest Services. UPSC conducts a combined preliminary examination for both civil services as well as to the forest services. Since forest services has more importance with respect to conservation, biodiversity, forests and all, ecology and environment, that's why it becomes more important even in the prelims stage. We can expect more number of questions from this particular section. Is that clear? So because of this combined examination and because of its presence in both prelims and mains, the subject is highly important for UPSC. That is the first goal, that is the first reason why we should study environment and ecology for UPSC examination. So is this point clear? Now exam is clear. Now is there any relevance, any importance of this subject beyond this examination? That means in the real life, maybe you may be a civil servant or maybe a citizen of India. Even being a citizen of India also, is there any importance of this subject? Is there any importance of the things that we learn in this module? Let us see them. The first thing is, yes, this is related to the weightage that I was discussing about. Okay, that is, see, if you see, I have put, is that visible clearly? If you see, I have put the weightage of prelims from 2013 onwards to 2020. I have taken from where the syllabus of UPSC has changed, and from here onwards there is a structural change in the examination. That's why. So 2013 से 2020 तक, if you see what is the weightage of this environment and ecology in the prelims examination is, it has varied from 18 marks to 10 marks. Sorry, 10 questions, 18 questions to 10 questions. That is from 36 marks to 20 marks. So that is a considerable amount of weightage if we consider. So it is varying from 10 to 18%. At times, if we consider the current affairs section as well, it may go up to 20%. That is 1/5 of the question paper. So that's why it is very, very important. Apart from that, in mains also, you have close to 35 to 50 marks. So out of 250, in GS paper 3 we have it for 250, close to 35 to 50 marks are coming from environment and ecology. So this point is clear because it is highly important for UPSC examination. Then let me clear this. Then what is the second reason? Like I said, beyond this examination, is there any relevance of this subject for the aspirants? Let us look at that and try to understand it. See, beyond this examination, once you clear and you become a civil servant and administrator, then there is an obligation on you to conserve the nature, to conserve the biodiversity, and to mitigate the pollution, to mitigate the environmental degradation. For that, you will be a stakeholder. Not only stakeholder, you will be a shareholder. You will be directly participating in that. Some of the acts, legal acts which are passed by the parliament will be implemented by you being a civil servant, and you might have to come up with some of the policies in order to conserve the environment and provide a better environment, a polluted free environment to the localities in which you are serving. So for that reason, whatever the information that we learn here, that will be very, very handy. So in your real life administration, it is going to be very, very useful. Some of the techniques, some of the tools that we learn here, for example bioremediation, and we'll be looking at some of the techniques like in situ and ex situ conservation methods. Such sort of things you can implement. And please recall, I already said there is a common examination for Indian Forest Services in the preliminary stage. So all these guys, they are directly involved in the conservation of the forest, biodiversity, wildlife and all, and for them it is very, very, very useful. Is that clear? The second point is clear. Now let us look at the third one, which is the global problem, the problem of pollution. So now first let us understand what is a pollution. See, pollution in a simple terms, we can say adding of the undesirable substances to air, to water, to soil. So when it is added to the air, it is called air pollution. When it is added to the water, it is called water pollution. When these undesirable toxic pollutants are being added to the soil, it is soil pollution. Similarly, we have noise pollution. Similarly, we have light pollution, radioactive pollution. Different types of pollutions are there. So these pollutions are harmful for the human health and biodiversity and organisms, and they are destroying the balance in the ecosystem. Of course, ecosystem I'll discuss separately. What is ecosystem and all, these are technical words. Okay. So here, this is a global problem. Pollution is a global problem. We are all experiencing it, either in India or in the world. We are experiencing the bad habits of pollution. Now, to mitigate the pollution and degradation, like degrading the quality of air or water or soil because of this pollution. So in order to mitigate them, we have to have a sound knowledge of all the concepts related to the pollution. So that is where it will be very, very handy. Is that clear? So this is like whether you are a civil servant or you are a citizen or you are a student or you are an aspirant. So we have a shared responsibility here. So that is why it is once again very, very important. So are you getting the points why we should study it, why we should learn it, right? Now the next important step is conservation of biodiversity. Now what is biodiversity? That is with respect to, bio means organism, related to organism. With respect to these organisms, what is the diversity that we have? Like you can say flora and fauna, like the diversity with respect to the plant species is flora, and with respect to the animal species is fauna. Now that is a rich heritage in a sense, if you can say, to any particular region. This biodiversity is the ecological rich heritage of that particular region. Now because of this pollution and degradation, what happens is this biodiversity is directly threatened. Because of this threatening, we are losing those species, we are losing those organisms. Okay, so once they are lost, once they become extinct, extinct is the word that we use to say that they have been disappeared from that particular region. So once they become extinct, then we may not able to retrieve them back again. So that is the reason why we need to conserve the biodiversity, because these species, these bioorganisms, they are interdependent on each other. So if there is any imbalance in one species population, that is going to harm the other populations. Like let me give an example. You might have come across with many of the advertisements showing in the social media like save the tigers. Now the question is, tiger is a wild animal. The moment it sees us, it will kill us. So why should we save it? Because it is a very, very important species in checking the balance in the ecosystem. Meaning, if enough number of tigers are not there, what will happen? The prey of the tiger, let us say some antelopes, it may be gazelles or deer or something, their population will be, it will increase. As a result, there will be impact, there will be pressure on the land for food. So what will happen because of this overgrazing, because of lot of no pressure on these primary producers or on these plants, should I say, what will happen? Their population will reduce. As a result, the balance in the ecosystem, the sustainability in the ecosystem will degrade, and finally there will be collapsing of that ecosystem. So that is the reason why each and every individual, we being human beings, we are also depending on many of the organisms in this environment for our food, shelter and other comforts. So if you are imbalancing it, then what will happen? There will be unsustainability. So that is what we are feeling. That is the reason why there is a climate change, and that is the reason why we wanted to put more and more efforts to bring it back so that we can have that ecological balance. Is that clear? So that is the reason why we have to study it. Now, apart from all of this, there is one more thing. Like you might have read the Constitution of India. In the Constitution, if you see part 4A, so there is a separate section which is called fundamental duties. Fundamental duties. So what are they? Being a citizens of this country, you are enjoying certain rights which are guaranteed by the Constitution. They are fundamental rights. So if you are enjoying these rights, being a responsible citizen, you have certain obligations, certain duties to perform for this country. Those duties are nothing but fundamental duties. In these fundamental duties, there is a particular duty under 51A. This is the article and clause G. It particularly says, it puts a duty on each and every citizen of India, that it is the duty of each and every individual to protect, conserve the environment. So being a citizen of India, you have this fundamental duty which is imposed on you by the Constitution. Of course, it is not enforceable. It means nobody can ask you to perform this. It is up to you, but this duty is on you. Clear? So because of all these reasons, we have to conserve the nature, environment, biodiversity, mitigate the pollution. So to understand all of them and to perform our duty, whether it may be as a citizen, as an aspirant or as an administrator, we must understand the concepts of environment and ecology. So is that clear? The point of why environment ecology is there in the UPSC examination and what is its importance beyond the examination. So it's not just for the clearing of the examination, even after the examination it is going to come handy in our day-to-day life. Clear? So with that, answering the second question, why we should study this environment, let us move to the next question, that is how should we study it. So this part, it is related to our plan of execution, our plan of learning this subject. That is simply we can say what is the strategy to cover it. See, having a plan to cover any particular subject, particularly in the competitive environment, competitive exams, it is very, very important. Why? Because here, particularly in the UPSC examination, there is ocean of information available. If we keep on doing everything, if we keep on studying everything, it will happen that you will be deviated from the objective, that is clearing of this examination. So here what we need to focus is the very first point I told you, the objectivity, maintaining the clarity. That is, we have to know what should be covered and what are the contents of this course, so that we can cover it within a stipulated time of whatever that we have devised, whatever that we have planned, and at the same time we cover it such a manner that it gives us maximum marks, maximum benefit. So within the less time, we have to maintain our objectivity to cover all the contents of UPSC with respect to environment, so that whatever that comes related to it, we can answer it in the examination and clear this examination. So for that, we must have a strategy and we must know how to approach it. So for this purpose, so this is mainly where I will be coming into picture, like I will be helping. So this entire course, like environment and ecology, I have divided it into different sections by analyzing the previous year question papers, both prelims and mains, and looking at the syllabus of UPSC. I have put it here. So this is where we will be learning about entire course. So I have divided this into 6 sections. Of course, there is one more section like disaster management. This one I'll be dealing it separately. So not here as a separate module. We will be taking 6 or 7 sessions, and with that we'll complete that. Okay. So apart from that, here what we will be learning, what we will be covering in this module is first the basics of ecosystem. So this is where we will introduce ourselves to the ecology as a branch, as a science branch, and here we will be understanding what is the meaning of ecology, what is ecosystem, and what is environment, what are the different components in it, how the components in it are classified, what is the meaning of producer, what is the meaning of consumer, and different types of consumers, and how the energy is flowing in this ecosystem from one level of organism to the other level of organism. So all such basic concepts are understood here. Is that clear? So this is, let us say, first section of this course, and in the second section of this course we will be looking at environmental degradation. As I said earlier, degradation is degrading the quality of any particular material. So if that is air, then we call it as air pollution. Then if it is water, we call it as water pollution. Okay. So in the similar manner, here I'll be covering soil pollution and noise pollution, light pollution, excess of light, having excess of light. So I'll discuss how light pollution causes damage to the organisms. Then radioactive pollution, then space pollution, like space junk that we have been seeing in the news nowadays. So all of them will be covered here. So here the structure will be, we'll be looking at what is the meaning of it, and what are the causes behind it, and what are the consequences of it, then how it can be mitigated, how it can be reduced, how it can be checked. So in the same structure we will try to cover all of these. Clear? So this is the second section. Now entering into the third section, which is biodiversity and conservation. So here we will be understanding what is the meaning of biodiversity, what is the flora and fauna, what is the meaning of speciation, what are the different types of adaptations species have taken, and we'll be looking at different types of, like here we'll be looking at different types of ecosystems, like terrestrial ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem and all. There we'll try to link it with this in order to understand what are the species in that and how their diversity is threatened by this degradation, and what measures should be taken in order to conserve them. So these are the topics we'll be covering under biodiversity and conservation. Okay. Now going to the fourth section, which is climate change. See, in your syllabus of UPSC there is no separate section like climate change, but however this is very very important and it has a direct link with environmental degradation. That's why I have kept it as a separate. Let me change the color. Okay, I have kept it as a separate chapter here. Okay, separate chapter here, and here we will be learning at what is climate change, how it is induced, what is the meaning of global warming, greenhouse effect, and how this pollution, particularly air pollution, water pollution and all, they are inducing climate change, and what are the consequences of climate change. Because of climate change we are having a rise in the sea level because of warming effect, because of global rise in the temperatures, and as a result of it the biodiversity is threatened. See, if you see each and every section that we are discussing, they are connected, and that's why I'm trying to connect it here as well. So what is the impact of climate change on the biodiversity, we'll be looking at here. So this is the fourth section. Now there is fifth section, which is agriculture. Agriculture is part of your economics, like paper 3, same paper, agronomics. But however, here we will be looking at from the ecological perspective of agriculture, where we will be learning about what is sustainable agriculture, what are the practices of agriculture which are detrimental to the environment, and what measures can be taken to make it sustainable. For example, you might have heard about the issue of stubble burning, okay, crop residue burning. As a result, there is pollution, air pollution, there is water pollution because of leaching of heavy metals. So all those topics can be covered here, and along with that we will be looking at some of the methods of agriculture, such as organic farming. What is the meaning of organic farming, and what is the meaning of zero budget natural farming? Okay, these have been asked by the UPSC. That is the reason why I am including here. Otherwise, this is not part of our environment, but it is closely linked with the environment, and UPSC has been asking questions from here. That is the reason why I have included here. Then finally, the miscellaneous section. So this is where the topic which has been missed from that location. If you remember, I told you that there is the concept called environmental impact assessment, EIA, which is there explicitly in the syllabus of UPSC. This is where we will be learning about environmental impact assessment, and we will try to link it with the current affairs, whatever the new developments that are happening. And apart from here, we will be looking at certain organizations, national as well as international organizations, which are working for mitigation of pollution, conservation of biodiversity. For example, if you are to talk, UNFCCC and many other, like CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. And we have let us take one more example, like local level. We have wetland conservation on the international level. Wetlands, I'll discuss what are wetlands, so which is called Ramsar Convention. Okay, so apart from that, Paris Agreement. So sort of international and national efforts which have been taken by different countries and India in order to mitigate this pollution and conserve the biodiversity. For example, Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, okay, Water Pollution Prevention Act. So such a sort of things will be discussed under the miscellaneous section, and of course they will be interlinked whenever we discuss about certain aspects like environmental degradation. Under measures, we'll try to link them here, and similarly under conservation, we'll try to link the bodies and organizations and acts and efforts which are being taken to conserve the biodiversity, and we'll try to link it here. Is that clear? So that is one aspect of it. Then there is another aspect, which is current affairs. So in this module, I'll be covering 1.5 years of current affairs. So starting from January 2020 till the examination, like prelims examination, you can say. So before the prelims examination, so September 2021. So all the current affairs particularly related with the environment will be covered here. So this is how we are going to cover entire course. So for your reference, I have given the contents of the course here already. If you look at them, the topics to be covered lecture wise. So each lecture will keep it like 2 hours of duration. And in the first one, environment and ecology basics. As I said, there we will be learning about different aspects of ecosystem, ranging from what is it and what are the components of it, then energy flow, food chain, food web, pyramid, then classification, then different types of ecosystems like terrestrial ecosystem and the aquatic ecosystem. Such sort of things will be covered here in this section. So this is your first section. Then in the second section, which is environmental degradation, we will be covering different types of pollutions. Is that clear? Let me erase it here so that you can have a look at them. Okay. So this is the section which is dealing with environmental degradation, where we will be looking at different types of pollutions. Of course, here one point I forgot to mention here is we will be looking at solid waste management and efforts, rules in order to reduce it. Similarly, we will be looking at other waste managements like e-waste management, biomedical waste management and radioactive waste management. So sort of things will be looked at here. Then coming to the biodiversity and conservation. So whatever the topics that I have discussed here, like bioreserves, what is the concept of it, how many bioreserves are there in India, what are the characteristics of them, what are the different important species which are present in them. Then we will be looking at national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, wetlands. So what is the distinction between these? Then we will be looking at some of the important species. There is a organization known as IUCN. There is an organization known as IUCN, International Union for Conservation of the Nature. So that has classified the species based on their level of threat, what sort of threat they are facing. So that classification, and under which different types of important endangered species will be covered here. Then this topic, I told you we are going to link it with the miscellaneous topics. So the conservation efforts, Wildlife Protection Act in India and in the world. For example, in the world we will be discussing about CITES. Okay, so there is a convention particularly to regulate the trade in the endangered species, that we will be discussing here. Okay, so some sort of other organizations are there. Then we will be moving to this climate change, which I have highlighted here. So here we will be looking at the causes, consequences, mitigation measures. Apart from that, certain miscellaneous topics like acidification, particularly ocean acidification, ozone depletion, and what are the causes and consequences will be discussed here. Then different mitigation strategies and what is the impact of climate change on India and how we are responding to that will be covered here. Now coming to the agriculture, as I said, here we will be looking at sustainable agricultural practices and types of agricultural and irrigation practices like drip irrigation, sprinkle irrigation, flood based irrigation. Okay, and finally we will be looking at zero budget natural farming and organic farming, what is the meaning of it and how they are beneficial in maintaining the ecological balance and sustainability. Okay, then finally, as I said in the miscellaneous section, here we will be looking at it. If you see these four lectures I have kept it for particularly current affairs. If you see, I will be covering from January 2020 onwards till September 2021. Okay, so all the current affair issues which are related to environment, ecology and biodiversity will be covered here. So you don't have to worry. Then two sections, particularly two sessions, I have kept it for previous year questions discussion. This is where we will be looking at different questions of UPSC which have been asked in the prelims as well as in mains. So for both we have separate sections. In prelims we will be looking at the MCQs, multiple choice questions, and we will be trying to solve them. So solving them will give us the confidence boost, because whatever that we have covered in the entire course, we will be trying to test our knowledge. So this is prelim section. Similarly, in the next session we will be looking at UPSC previous year questions of mains examination, where we will be looking at different mains questions, and throughout the course, wherever the topic which is important for the mains comes, I will be giving certain questions for your practice so that you can practice your answer writing, and looking at those questions I will be giving you the feedback, how to improve upon answer writing, how to prioritize the points, how to manage the information. Like everyone talks about time management, but nobody talks about the information management. Sometimes a 10 marks question which is well known to us, which has lot of information with us, we might write it more elaborately, so that will impact next question with respect to time, as well as we may not be able to manage it. So that is where we have to prioritize the information according to the demand of the question. So that is where I'll be helping you how to write the answer according to the demand of the question and keep it the objectivity of the question. So that we will be practicing. And after this, like this is purely for the prelims and conceptual section. After this, from all these topics, everywhere I'll try to give at least 1 or 2 questions per session for answer writing, and I'll personally check those questions, okay, so that I can give you the feedback. So this is how we are going to cover the entire course, okay. So I hope this is clear. If you have any doubts, please comment and we'll get back to you. Then the sources, the next doubt that comes to our mind, like once we know how to study it, then कहाँ से पढ़ना है भाई ये सारे questions, ये सारे information जो है कहाँ से पढ़ना है. For that, the basic sources that I prefer and I recommend them is for conceptual clarity, NCERT books. So if you see some of the science books and as well as geography books, geography. So because there is a close link of geography with environment and ecology. Of course, while dealing with some of the concepts, I'll be switching to the concept of that particular thing in the geography and try to explain it and come back again so that we can have the better clarity with respect to that topic. So in science books and geography books, if you look at later sections at the end, you will be having chapters related to environment, chapters related to the vegetation, chapters related to the fauna, okay. So those chapters are important for your environment. Just have a reading of it, so that will give you the basic knowledge, the basics of it. Of course, I will be starting from there itself, like very beginning, so that you can have the basics from the classes as well, okay. Now the second important source, which is highly preferred one, is the environmental studies books by ICSE board, particularly class 9th and 10th, okay. So here you can look at some of the basic concepts like what is degradation, what are different types of degradation, and what are the conservation methods. All of them are given here, the conceptual clarity. Then the class notes, like whatever the PPTs that I'm making, so I'll be using them to teach. So once I'm teaching, I'll be writing on them. So those annotated PPTs and along with without annotations, we will be providing both of these PPTs to you so that you can keep them as a reference. You can get the information from them. You can start revising the topics from them. Last minute revision can be done from here. So we will be providing these annotated PPTs. Apart from that, we have a booklet which is published by our organization JV's IAS. So this booklet is a very simple one, Environment and Ecology for JV's foundation course. So this booklet has all the contents. Of course, it includes disaster management as well. So you can refer to this booklet for the conceptual clarity and revision. So this booklet will also be provided to you. Is that clear? Now apart from that, so this is all the static portion of the environment and ecology. Now environment ecology, the concepts related to it and the pollution, diversity, measures and all, they are always there in the news, okay. So it is pretty much dynamic topic as well. So that's why you have to supplement these dynamic topics with daily newspaper reading. We have different initiatives at JV's IAS. We will be providing you the daily editorials. Jatin sir is taking the classes for daily current affairs, okay, the editorial analysis and all. So from there also you can get them. And apart from that, you can supplement with your own newspaper. You can prefer either the Hindu, okay, either the Hindu or Times of India or Indian Express, whatever may be the newspaper, but preferably stick your sources to one, at max 2 newspaper. Don't go beyond 2 newspapers. Better to keep it one and thoroughly read that newspaper daily basis पे, क्योंकि जो न्यूज़ है एक न्यूज़पेपर पे आ रहे तो कुछ दिन के बाद दूसरे न्यूज़पेपर पे भी रिपीट होगा, मे बी 1 or 2 days का गैप होगा. The same news which are happening, they are being taken by the reporters and publishing in the newspapers. That's why keep your source particularly with respect to newspaper, either to one or maximum at the time of your interview you can refer to 2 newspapers. Okay, so that is it for dynamic topic like national and international environmental issues. So these are all the references and sources. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now, having understood the 4 basic questions like what is we have to study and why we have to study, how we have to study, and from where. Now, this is a very introductory lecture. I don't want you to go home empty-handed. So that's why I'm going to discuss the very basics like what is ecosystem, what is environment, what is ecology, so that at least this session is beneficial to you apart from learning what is the importance and the strategy. Is that clear? Now let us look at what is ecology, then what is environment, what is ecosystem. See, ecology, it comprises of 2 terms. One is oikos and another one is logos. Okay, so both of them are Greek terms. Oikos means home, it means home, and logos means, wherever you see this logos word, it means study of something. Okay, so together if we keep study of something, together if we keep what is ecology, ecology is study of home. Okay, in a simple sense. So in that home means here the habitat where the living organisms are present in a particular area. So in that, what is the kind of interactions, what is the kind of relations that these organisms have with other organisms and with the environmental components, abiotic components or non-living components in that particular region. So that entire study we call it as ecology. So to sum it up, ecology is the study of relationships. Please, this one is very important word. Relationships, the kind of interactions, okay, relationships of living organisms with each other and with their environment Now another new word came, environment. What is the meaning of environment? See, environment means all the physical things which are surrounding us is an environment. For example, to me, this board is a part of my environment, the camera, you, the chairs, and everything is part of my environment. So in that particular environment, all the things and how these organisms are interacting with each other and with these non-living things, that the study of that we call it as ecology. Is that clear? Now, environment, as I said earlier, environment is that which surrounds or which affects an organism in a particular area is collectively known as environment. Now, having understood ecology and environment, what is the meaning of an ecosystem? See, system means a complex of things. So ecosystem, it consists of all the organisms and their physical environment with which they are interacting. So please recall the ecology. Ecology, we are saying that the study of interactions which are happening in the environment. Now those interactions where they are happening, that entire thing is ecosystem. That entire thing is ecosystem. Okay, to give the example to make it better understand, suppose say this institution and the kind of relationships, the kind of interactions which are happening between you and the institution, being everything, the study of those interactions, the study of those relations is what? Ecology of this institution. Now environment is this classroom where we are sitting. The environment comprises of the chairs, the pens, the notebooks you are writing. Okay, so everything is part of that environment. Now what is the ecosystem? Ecosystem is this locality where these interactions are happening, where we are interacting with each other, where we are interacting with non-living things. That is ecosystem. थोड़ा सा confusion होगा, but this example will make it easier. Like I have provided here. Look at this diagram. I have taken one ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem here. So what is the meaning of ecosystem? Ecosystem is that locality where the interactions are happening, like where it consists of all the organisms and the physical environment with which they are interacting. So this is the locality where these interactions, either with the organisms, let me take this duck as the reference, how the duck is reacting with other organisms and non-biotic or non-living things. So this locality where these are happening, that is ecosystem. Now within this locality, within the surroundings of this reference one, which is duck, there are certain objects. These objects may be living or non-living. So those objects will be comprising of the environment of this duck. Is that clear? Now what is ecology? Ecology is the study of interactions, the study of relations, like the relationships that it is doing with the environment and other organisms. That is ecology. Is that clear now? Okay. Now, having understood this, you are saying you are clear. Let us see your clarity. Now, please answer this. Which one of the following is the best description of the term ecosystem? Ecosystem. What is ecosystem? Just now I have given the example and explained. Just have the look at options and tell me what is the correct answer. Option A is saying that a community of organisms interacting with one another. It seems correct. Let us go to other options and try to do the elimination technique, then come to the correct answer. Going to the B, let us say it is doubtful. Okay? Next, that part of the earth which is inhabited by the living organisms. See, this is wrong, because where the living organisms are inhabiting a particular portion of the earth, that is called biosphere. I'll discuss it, what is a biosphere, in the coming lecture. So we can eliminate this. Now going to the third option, it is saying that a community of organisms together with the environment in which they live. Just look at this. Here in the first, which we have said, doubtful. Here it is only talking about interaction of the organisms with each other, only each other. What about the environment, the physical environment which is present? Ecosystem considers not only the interaction of the organism with other, but also the interaction of this organism with the physical environment. So that's why this is wrong, this one is correct. Okay, so this is all for today's session. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have learned something out of it, and thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for being patient and being attentive throughout the session, and see you soon in the next session. Thank you very much.